we were speaking during the break how you don't want to be subject to racism, and that's totally valid. And I don't think you'd like living under a mayor that's like, well, I don't dislike all black people. I only dislike some.
That's not the same thing. That is not the same thing. That is not the same thing.
But I actually don't think that's what. I don't know if that's what. I don't want to.
Don't drag us into that, by the way.
I don't drag you into what?
Don't drag us into your discussion about that it's the same thing as black people. Don't drag us into that.
Last one.
America.
Yeah, at Columbia University, yeah.
People getting kidnapped and raped
she was an
on
organizer
October
of it.
7th.
It's
The
pretty
mayor's
awful.
wife is a jihadist. Let's be honest with ourselves.
Guys, let me let Mark finish his thought.
When you like people raping and murdering, that is terrorism.
And when you elect a president that sexually assaults women, that's enabling.
Emily and Aaron.
So, but when Randy Fine in Florida was running for office, who Donald Trump actually endorsed, and he said that Palestinian is just another word for demon, which is still up on his Twitter page right now.
So people on the right are still continuing to have a complete and utter meltdown. But if there's a section of the right and even the left that are melting down more than anyone, it is the Israel First sect. In this clip, we are going to see Emily Austin, who is a known Israel Firster, completely just melt down and lose all sense of reality when speaking about Zohran Mamdani, as well as the democratic socialists that are sweeping the United States of America. As usual, let's watch the clip in full. I'm going to give you guys my thoughts towards the end. Let's get into it.
Tonight, will the rise of socialism in the Democratic Party hurt the Democrats' chances in November? Bill Maher says absolutely.
If this is where the Democratic Party is going, where this democratic socialist, this obsession with Israel, with the Jew hating, they don't believe in capitalism, no prisons, if this is where they're going, my vote is in play.
Okay.
And
I like to hear that.
It actually always has been. Every year, I don't make my decision by who was an R or a D. I actually always came to the conclusion that the Democrat was probably better.
Sure.
And voted for them.
Okay.
And Trump can't run again, and he'd be a little too exciting for me anyway. So it's either going to be you or Rubio.
Charles, what do you make of that?
Listen, Maher does not like Mamdani. These are Mamdani's candidates. He doesn't like the positions that these people have taken. We understand that. Anybody who's followed Maher knows that. I do think the idea that democratic socialism is some sort of boogeyman that people are running away from in the country, I think people are overplaying that. I don't think that's true. I don't think people, particularly after this particular president, I don't think people are shocked by much. I don't think they're turned off necessarily by much of what somebody has said or done, because we have a model in the presidency that has done horrible, crazy, said awful things, and is still the president of the United States. So I just don't think it is as big a deal as people are making it out to be.
I don't think that was the point. I think the point was, yeah, maybe the socialism's not taking over the country. I don't think we're near there, and anyone who says otherwise is being hysterical. But I think the loudest voices and faces of the Democratic Party are the socialists, it's the AOCs. Mamdani is probably the most spoken about person in the country right now. And if that's the face of the party, it's doing a good favor to the Republicans in the upcoming election.
Do you know how happy New York is right now? Do you know how cool it is to see your mayor? Do you know how cool it is to see your mayor jump in a pool with the kids?
I don't give a damn about the mayor jumping in the pool.
Yeah, but
I care
people,
about the future of New York. I care about my safety. I care about my children's life.
Homicides are down in New York City.
Yeah.
Rent freezes are happening. Campaign promises are being delivered.
They're punishing capitalism.
You're saying
New York is a city of capitalism with a socialist mayor. He's going to drive everyone to Panama.
No,
he's going to drive everyone to
not.
Puerto Rico. How many billionaires are already leaving?
Yeah, I just think that y'all are missing the plot too here, because this happened in your party as well. And actually, if you compared from when another form of extremism. Actually,
well, it's on both sides.
MAGA actually happened in your party. So what happened in your party was Barack Obama was elected, the Tea Party started. Everybody was like, there's no way, there's no way. The Tea Party is in power right now because people were actually sick of the status quo. Doesn't matter what the other side labels it. When people feel like they're actually being listened to, which a lot of people actually felt like they were being listened to with Donald Trump, which is why he won a second term. I'm willing to concede that. They don't really feel that right now. And some people actually feel like the traditional and establishment Democrats are not listening to them.
I care about
so we're
facts,
being,
not feelings. And the fact is that Mamdani makes everyone feel good, but what he's doing is not good.
He's delivering on his campaign
I know, and his
promises,
campaign was horrendous. I agree with you.
But he's not
delivering on
elected.
socialism.
Ashley's
He's
point
delivering.
is that there's an anti-establishment wave, and Mamdani, AOC, others are riding it.
And Donald Trump wrote
Is that
it.
not what's
I don't
happening?
think it's that harmless. I think the reality is that candidates in New York actually were part of those organizing rallies at Columbia chanting death to America. This is not just about rent control. This is something that is far more harmful to our
Extremism.
country. But to your question about the midterms.
But wait, Mark,
hold on,
have you
let me
actually
finish.
seen those people chant death to America?
Yeah, at Columbia University, yeah.
People
Yeah,
getting
it did.
kidnapped and
And she
raped
was an
on
organizer
October
of it.
7th.
It's
The
pretty
mayor's
awful.
wife is a
But
jihadist.
to
Let's
your
be honest
question
with
about the
ourselves.
midterms.
Hold on, guys. Let me let Mark finish his thought.
Your
When
question
you
about
elect
the
people
midterms.
raping and
Emily,
murdering,
Emily,
that
please
is
stop.
terrorism.
Emily,
So I'm
stop.
glad
When you
that
elect a
think
president
that
that sexually
this is
assaults
going to
women,
be-
Emily,
No, then
that's
he's not
enabled.
jail.
Emily and Ashley, please stop for a second.
I
We just
think
let
this is
Mark
going
finish
to
his
be
point
a
seriously.
bigger albatross for Democrats after the midterms, because I think these people will likely get elected, and they're going to be boon and fundraiser for Republicans. They're going to be a terrible problem for Jeffries. But midterms are usually about the party in power.
But New
And so
Yorkers
I
feel
don't think it's
good.
have as
That's all
much
that
of an impact
matters.
about the politics this
All
November.
right.
New Yorkers
We're
are
going to take a
American.
quick break,
That's
and we'll be
it.
right back.
They
on the
deserve to
other
feel
side
good
of
as
it.
well.
And the idea of a Jewish state, Israel is a Jewish state, that's in the charter. That's the way it is now. Do you support that?
I've said time and again that I support the state of Israel as a state with equal rights. I believe that any state that
But as
preferences...
a Jewish state is the question.
I think any state that privileges one religion over the other is one that I can't tell you I support, whether it be Israel or Saudi Arabia or anywhere else. And a lot of that comes back to a fundamental belief that we should all be considered equal no matter what our faith is.
So Mark was asking in the break, is it just the economics, or is it also stuff like that, Ashley, that has caused the rise of these Mamdani-esque candidates?
Well, I think putting it all under the banner of socialism actually is a misnomer. I think the socialism policies actually are the economic policies. I also think that there are people that have great issues with our alliance to Israel. Am I one of those people? I do think Israel is our ally. Do I like the current government of Israel? No. Do I like the current government of the United States? No. I'm still allowed to do that because we live in a democracy and we're able to have freedom of speech. Does that mean I should be persecuted for that? No. Could I be persecuted for that? Potentially. And is that how some people are seeing what is happening to Palestinians? So I think Mamdani's answer, in my opinion, is where I'm aligned. I think that people should be able to express their religion, express their sexuality, express their race, and express their ideologies free, whether it's a
That's what they
Muslim,
can do in Israel,
So then
not
on
other
both-
countries.
not
in the region.
Palestinians.
The
Not
Palestinians
Palestinians.
are Supreme Court judges in Israel. Palestinians have rights
Not
to
at the
vote
West
in the
Bank.
election.
Not
Well,
in the
West Bank doesn't
occupation.
want to be part of Israel. Neither does Gaza. So if they were
So-
part of Israel, then they can
Not
have the same
Palestinians
rights
that
as
live in
Israelis.
Israel.
Here's
They
what I want to
can't-
ask you,
they
Charles. I
absolutely
mean,
can.
are Republicans making a mistake to assume that that sentiment that we just heard from Mamdani is something that is only reserved for far left liberals? Because when I look at the polling and I see young, conservatives, their views on Israel have shifted sharply negative over the last couple of years.
And I think I'm looking at the same polls that you're looking at, which is why I'm always confused when people pick out people on the left who are running for office and say that they have said something that was offensive, and they say that they, as you have said before, that that they are horrible people and you condemn them, right? So, but when Randy Fine in Florida was running for office, who Donald Trump actually endorsed, and he said that Palestinian is just another word for demon, which is still up on his Twitter page right now. I looked to see if either of you had ever condemned him for that, and I might have missed it. My fault. I will give you the opportunity right now to condemn that the same way that you are condemning the other people.
There you go, condemned. I
Thank
think
you
we could
so
agree.
much. I appreciate
I think
that.
we could agree
I appreciate-
two things
I
are
really
wrong.
appreciate
think we
that.
have-
I really appreciate
I mean, I
that.
think it's the bare minimum to be like, hey, Palestinians are human too.
I appreciate
but I
that
don't
so much.
appreciate when my mayor is like, oh, I don't dislike Jews. I only dislike Zionists. Okay, well, what if I told you majority of Jews were Zionists? Like we were speaking during the break how you don't want to be subject to racism, and that's totally valid. And I don't think you'd like living under a mayor that's like, well, I don't dislike all black people. I only dislike some.
That's not,
I'm
that's
sure
not the
you
same
would,
thing.
but I
That
don't
is
think
not the
it
same
because
thing.
most Jews
That is
are
not the
that
same
But I
thing.
actually don't
and
think
That is
that's
not the
what.
same thing.
I don't
That
know
is
if
not
that's
the same
what.
thing.
I don't
Don't
want to.
drag us into that, by the way.
I
drag
don't.
you into
No,
what?
don't drag us into. Don't drag us into
let me
your
let
discussion about
Ashley
that it's the same thing as black
Zionists?
people. Don't
Ashley,
drag us
this is
into
the
that.
last word here.
Don't drag us into that.
I think that I think what I hear when I actually hear Mamdani speak is that he says that he does not like the ideology of having a religious state. Whether it is, he said, Saudi Arabia, which is a predominantly Muslim state, or Israel, which is a predominantly
No, I
Jewish
hear you,
state.
but he never talks about the other states, and I think we can.
He literally
Outside of this interview, has he
literally
ever
said it.
made it his point to constantly talk about
I really
Like,
want to
you
just
can't-
let
you can't
Ashley
say
finish
that
this
Israel-
thought.
Never, but just
He
But
never
you
speaks
can't.
about
just
the
saw.
other
But I
ones.
think that's the problem, right? Is that folks are so dug in on this, and I understand it as someone who is not a part of either one of those communities. Because I was sitting at a table on October 7th with a Palestinian and with somebody who has lived in Israel, and I saw the tension, and I thought it was not my place to get in it. So I understand the personal pain that both of those folks are feeling. But I think words actually do matter. And what he said in that interview is what you're saying he didn't
Yeah,
say.
but his wife was liking videos of women
so
getting
I
raped
get-
on
I
October
get-
7th.
I guess-
so I
I
don't know
guess,
if I
like-
care about Mamdani's words, to be honest with you.
Well, then
When the
can I
women
say I
get
don't know if I
married,
care about
who I'm
Donald
sure he
Trump's
supports.
words when he says
But
he's
follow
not,
his actions, exactly. Don't
He
listen to
tweeted
Trump's
apes.
words. Don't
He
follow his
tweeted
words,
apes.
follow his
He
actions. I
discriminated
want
against-
Mamdani's actions to be as generous
But
as his
Emily,
words.
but
I hope
Emily,
so.
Emily, I am actually following Trump's words and actions. He tweeted apes. He had somebody on his backyard that called the first black lady, black first lady, a man. He discriminated in the 70s against black people in housing. He actually called
So
for
did
the
Biden.
execution of the exonerated five. I am not only watching his words, I am watching the most powerful man's actions, and I'm also being told to ignore that.
All right, we're going to leave
Not
it there.
acceptable to me.
Next for us, and
So, a few things. Now, this is how I know that these people are scared of Zohran Mamdani. Because let's just have it right. I don't know what the heck Emily is talking about in terms of watching actions and whatnot. But when you actually take a look at what Zohran Mamdani is actually doing in the US, in New York, he's delivering on his promises. He is delivering on what he said he is going to do. Now, let's just go through some of them. The freezing of the rent. Mamdani froze rent for nearly 1 million rent-stabilized apartments. And that is a first in Rent Guidelines Board history. Okay, that's the first thing. He delivered $1.2 billion for universal childcare just 8 days into office. 8 days into office. His administration secured over $30 million in settlements from landlords and repaired more than 6,000 apartments in 100 days. City crews filled 102,000 potholes in his first 100 days. Now, I really want you guys to understand the reason as to why people like Emily Austin and I think his name is Mark, I'm not sure on his surname, the reason why they're so against Zohran Mamdani is absolutely nothing to do with what it is that he's doing or not doing in New York. The reason why people like Emily Austin and Mark are so against Zohran Mamdani is because of the fact that he speaks out on the genocide that Israel is doing in Gaza. That's the only reason as to why. And on top of that, he is Muslim himself. That's the only reason as to why these people are against him. That's the reason why they like to push lies and try and push narratives, simply because of the fact, like I said, that he speaks out and he's very, very plain and simple, black and white, when it comes to his criticism of Israel and what it is that they're doing. Now, if you actually go a step further, and let's actually take a look at how New Yorkers actually see him and how they actually look at what it is that he's doing. A Marist poll found 48% of New Yorkers approve of Mamdani's job performance, with only 30% disapproving. Among city voters specifically, a Siena poll found his net favorability at a 32-point positive. A Data for Progress survey found 61% of New Yorkers view him favorably, against just 35% unfavorable. Among voters who cast a ballot for him in November, his approval jumps to a 26-point net positive. So this idea and this narrative that people like Emily are trying to push, it's not based off any facts. It's not based off of any facts whatsoever. All it's purely based off of is the criticism of Israel. Now, the fact that it is that they would put the fact that he criticizes Israel above the fact that it is that he's delivering and he's actually seeing, they're actually seeing the city where it is that he's the mayor of actually in a positive state and things are going in a positive light. That speaks volumes. And that should be speaking to every single one of you guys that are listening, simply because of the fact that, guess what? What does that prove? These people aren't America first. These people are Israel first. Now, just a little bit of research on Emily Austin. Guys, she is plain and simply a Israel shill. That's what she is. Now, let's get into it. Emily Austin works directly for the Israeli government. In January 2023, Emily Austin joined the permanent mission of Israel to the United Nations, where she handles English communications and public relations. She calls herself a Zionist, not a journalist, but she calls herself a Zionist. Okay, we need to understand that. Now, she literally has said directly to Donald Trump, I told him, I love America. I'm an American citizen first, but I'm very concerned about Israel. This isn't someone who puts the United States first. And that's why these people are angry. And the last reason why it is that I say it, and why you can see there is a full-blown campaign, is because Zohran Mamdani, with what he is doing, is holding a mirror up to not just Republicans, but all politicians that have this narrative and this idea that they can't get things done for the American people. There is holding a mirror up to them and showing them that you guys aren't working for the American people. Because when you actually take a look at the things that he's actually doing, like, that narrative just goes completely out the window. And I believe one of the biggest problems is this. Politicians, not just in the United States, but all around the world, they are becoming so far removed from remembering that they're meant to be working for the working people, not for the rich, not for the wealthy, not for the elite, but for the working American people, because they are the basis, the backbone, the spine of any country. And Zohran Mamdani is giving a big middle finger to the establishment and the status quo, and he is showing them that, you know what, you can deliver for the American people, you can work for working class people, and you don't have to prioritize the elite, the rich and the wealthy. Let me know your guys' thoughts on this segment down in the comment section below. See you guys in the next one.